Hi, so my name is Lola Davey. I'm a senior at Rockford High School. You can find me everywhere on the campus, basically. I run track and field, I'm on the drumline in the marching band, and part of many after-school clubs, including Students in Action and Fellowship of Christian Athletes. I'm here to enunciate the importance of language and culture studies for high school students. I'm currently in AP Spanish, Language and Composition, and this is my 4th year studying the language. I absolutely love learning a new language and feel better that we have all kinds of teachers that can teach different languages at our school. They not only teach grammar and vocabulary and pronunciation, but they also introduce Rockford kids to a new culture. I believe that for any student, learning a new language is crucial to their education. Let's be realistic. Rockford is not one of the most diverse communities in terms of different cultures and ethnicities. So culture studies can help students break out of the Rockford bubble. Learning a language can create more opportunities for students to interact with other communities once they graduate. Even though exchange students say that we sound like AI when we speak their languages, in other parts of the world, knowing another language, it can broaden your understanding and the knowledge of Rockford students if done right. It can produce beneficial results regardless of what path students take after high school. I'd like to express my gratitude toward the board for offering so many opportunities in the World Language Department and for hiring the well-educated teachers we have so Rockford students can broaden their horizons and connect with people all over the world. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll reset the timer. Up next is Elise Davey.
Good evening. At the beginning of the year, Dr. Matthews challenged our teaching staff at our kickoff. We were presented with the 7 most important things that Rockford wants every graduate to leave with. We want them to be critical thinkers, academically proficient, socially and emotionally aware, personally responsible, career and college ready, problem solvers, and effective communicators. We were then challenged to come up with our own 7 most important things, and each staff member had the opportunity to reflect on what was most important to them. It was a really great exercise, and personally and professionally. Tonight, I'm doing a little spin-off, my 5 most grateful things, as a RPS teacher and a parent of a senior, a freshman, and a 6th grader. Administration and board members, I know that sometimes you hear more things that are a problem or grow areas instead of glow areas, so I hope this helps encourage you tonight. The new curriculum. This year we received our new CKLA curriculum. I'm grateful to have a research-based curriculum to support the area of language arts, and so far, my kindergarten students are responding well. A variety of sports and activities. As a parent and an educator, I'm grateful for the variety of sports and activities. Between my 3 girls, we have participated in band, orchestra, choir, cross-country, track, basketball, swim, water polo, community ed soccer, art classes, and various after-school clubs. The RAMS 12 strategic plan. If there's anyone that has not had a chance to examine this, I think the district and community are doing some really great things under these pillars. I would love to see some improvement, of course, but I'm grateful for the vision and mission to equip students and now and in the future. The art of teaching. Yes, we do have Common Core standards, priority standards, and curriculum maps we are required to follow, and I'm thankful. This is good practice so that students are college and career ready, and so that if a child switches schools within our district, they are learning the same essential standards. However, I'm grateful that there is still room for our own artistry and use of our gifts and talents. Number 5, mental health. Through our DHK campaign, we have been supporting students, families, and staff by covering a wide range of topics, including mental health, suicide prevention, substance abuse, and technology safety. I want every child to feel like they are seen, loved, and heard, and we are taking steps in the right direction. In closing, administrators and school board, we know that you are working long hours and taking time away from your family and of rest. In a world that feels a little chaotic and polarized, especially with an upcoming election, I just want you to know that you are appreciated, and we are so thankful for you. Tonight, I have a book for you called Feeling Grateful. Each board member will get one. I have 12, including the student rep. One of my favorite quotes is, "Be the reason someone believes in the goodness of people. Every kind thing you say or do for another becomes a part of them and you." Thank you.
Thank you. Up next is Brenda Wodarski. Brenda here?
First of all, I want to thank Jared for still not knowing how we can address the board according to the Supreme Court in 1964. So I would address you to look that up over the multiple times I've brought that up to you. So thank you once again for not doing your due diligent homework on that. Whew, geez. I also want to thank most of the board for not following your oath of office. I want to thank you for putting money over children. I want to thank you for putting sexually explicit books in the library, according to one of our members right here in the end, and a principal at Canonsburg Public School. I want to thank you for encouraging children to lie to parents, as we've seen in some lawsuits going on with Dan Mead. Wonderful. Christian teachers or people saying they're Christians and encouraging children to lie to their parents. For telling children that they can be the opposite sex when every single chromosome in their body is XX or XY. The drugs, the rest of their lives. For violating the MCL state school codes for sexually explicit books in the library. For the lack of education regarding masking. For allowing clot shots in our school. For turning down experts in the field of industrial hygienists. For hiring a COVID who knew absolutely nothing about COVID. For pretending to be patriotic and loving America. For reckless spending, such as graduation at Calvin College when we have a $10 million football stadium out there. For also turning down experts on the spike protein. For all the glyphosates and GMO in our school lunches, that's amazing too. For threatening to arrest me for not wearing an immune-suppressing slavery muzzle. For the plastic partitions put up to stop an airborne virus, thank you once again, and the toxins used to wipe down the desk in between while our kids laid their bare arms and hands on those. Oh, thank you again for getting rid of our dress code. Thank you again for allowing our teachers to have a private library with no database. And thank you for pushing that 5-hour rule to suppress our First Amendment rights to speak. Thank you for the 5G tower next to the football field. Thank you for Common Core and pushing computers in their hands when studies show computers don't work both sides of their brain. Thank you for allowing biological boys into my daughter's locker room. Thank you for the multiple lawsuits and probably more with the Title IX going on, allowing biological girls in the boys' bathrooms, for letting kids lick each other and pretend to be animals. And thank you for changing the testing standards to make our grades look better.
Up next is Craig Lee.
So, how's everybody's communist overthrow going? I know it's my first communist overthrow too, but obviously it's not the first one that happens in our country. Education is a cornerstone of a good communist overthrow. You really need to kind of take control of that educational system so you can go ahead and take the individual and put them in a collective. So that's what you do in terms of your reading standards. You go away from phonics to basically whole words. You want to have these people not have the individual capabilities to read on themselves and learn. And I note to the public, and I've brought this up a number of times, that we are basically changed from this horse man John Dewey to now this George Floyd educational system. And this happened on June 5th, 2020, where the KISA and all of the school superintendents in Kent County used this tragic killing of a felon by the name of George Floyd to somehow get privilege and responsibility to change laws in the school system. Basically having an unwavering commitment to diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging, which are all nice words, but they're undefined. Basically, anything goes, and we're going to just make it up as we go. This is not authority that's been deemed into you. The board is here to take an oath of office, and is sworn to uphold that oath of office. Not to go ahead and just let your superintendents go ahead and sign an unwavering commitment, which is a new oath to a criminal in a different state. Now, that's great that, DEI, it's kind of it's been a little bit of contentious in things. But actually at my kids' school, they actually do DEI. Imagino Dei, made in the image of God. Dei is the singular of God. So when you utilize this, it's kind of a mockery of it, if you really look at it. And what kind of a religion are we kind of teaching here? This is a new religion that we are kind of abandoning, this whole horse man John Dewey, which said keep God out, but now we're going to raise up a different God. We're going to raise up the God of transgenderism and confusion. It takes away from the learning environment of our students. And it's just a complete mockery of those people who have a deep faith. Nobody voted for this. Nobody said, let's go ahead and collude with 21 different school districts in this county, along with the Grand Rapids Diocese and the Grand Rapids Christian Schools, to go ahead and implement these things. This is the problem with our education, and it's going to lead to an inevitable destruction of it. But on those ashes, we definitely will rebuild. We can rebuild with things like phonics for reading, and use common sense communist controls in our school systems, and a simple see one, do one, teach one learning method, which I utilized in my career in medicine. Hopefully you all can take a little piece of information from this. Good night.
Okay, up next is Charles Curtis.
Good evening. In spite of all the things that RPS excels at, and there's many things that they excel at, I see some storm clouds on the horizon. The last 4 or 5 years have brought a major shift in school governing and philosophy and resulting policies that are very anti-family in nature. Many parents are waking up to the fact that they are losing control of their children's education and are pulling them out in increasing numbers to protect them from an atmosphere at odds with their family values. Enrollments have been significantly down over the past 4 years to the tune of 300 to 400 students, and I see that as a report card for Rockford Public Schools. There's much more dissatisfaction than you know. I've spoken to many parents who have pulled their children out, and many others with young children that are finding other options before they even enter a Rockford school. Rockford is losing students at a concerning rate, while parochial schools and charter schools have a waiting list. On top of that, homeschooling is booming. Families have choices, and they are increasingly exercising them to protect their children and give them a less indoctrinated education. This trend cannot continue, and Rockford needs to come to grips that it is the policies being embraced that are the cause, leaving parents worried and distrustful of a school system formerly revered by both its families and the community. The following are just some of these historically new policies and philosophies now being forced on students at the expense of parental controls. Voting for Title IX rewrite, which defines biological transgendering males as female with access to sports and private facilities. 2, obsession with gender and pronouns, normalizing gender confusion. 3, policies that push dangerous lifestyle choices on vulnerable children while hiding these things from parents and lying to cover it up. Engaging in lawsuits to protect the power to transition children without parental involvement and to keep obscene books available in libraries. Obsession with the unconstitutional diversity, equity, and inclusion. And also school-based health clinics pushing parents out and privatizing records for students 11 years old and up. You are fooling yourself if you believe you can force-feed these new progressive ideologies and expect families to passively allow them to influence their children. Declining enrollments are proof that they won't. Unabated and without corrective action, these newly adopted philosophies and their related policies have the potential to endanger the entire district. Thank you.
Up next is Amanda Curry.
Good evening. My name is Amanda Curry. My husband Cameron and I have had 4 kids in this district and have many things and people that we appreciate in it. As I speak, please know that I understand every board member has varying personal opinions, and I'm grateful for the time that each of you get. We've been following the RPS court cases, in particular the Meade case regarding social transitioning their daughter in middle school without parental knowledge. And not only that, but going to great lengths to hide it from her parents. I felt confident that Rockford would be extremely aware going forward that withholding information from a parent is a huge breach of trust in the staff and parent partnership. To my disappointment, I am still seeing in very recent teacher training materials that at the secondary level, quote, secondary school parents or guardians may not be involved at the request of the student. I've considered a couple options why this may still be the case. Number 1 is that the state is mandating this and we have funds tied to it, in which case I would encourage the board and leadership to push back against the state and lead the way in holding to what is right. Imagine the courage other districts would feel if a school our size says, not on our watch. I would be the first in line to start collecting signatures if that's what it took. Option 2 is that the majority of our board and leadership are actually in agreement that parents do not have a right to know about their child's decisions in such an important matter. A quick reminder that most 12-year-olds are not even sure what they want for breakfast or what to wear on any given day, not to mention that they would have no idea how to navigate the medical world or even be able to drive themselves there. Why would we think that they are capable of making a sexuality decision for themselves that has lifelong consequences? Option number 3 is that you are being told by the state that you are protecting the student from harm at home. If this is true, there are probably much deeper issues going on at home that should be addressed appropriately. If we as parents are aware you'll encourage dishonesty at this level, it begs the question, can I trust them with my child at all? And what else would they withhold from me? Why are we asking teachers and staff to lie to parents? This goes against the conscience of any moral person. We will lose moral teachers if we continue to put them in this compromising position. Even more troubling is the message being sent to young children that their own parents can't be trusted. This policy also encourages students to lie to their parents. Imagine how conflicting that must feel to a child after being taught that honesty is the best policy. Isn't honesty what we want from all of our students? Have we taken a moment to look at this at face value and say it how it really is? This approach to parent and staff relationships is going to implode our school system. I love this community as much as the next person, and I want to see it thrive. While it may be too late to rebuild that trust with some, it's not too late to consider the future of our school and change courses. Our district, our state, and our country needs leaders to hold to what is true and right. Please let us know what steps you will take to protect the rights of parents and what we can do to support you in that.
Up next is Sarah O'Neill.
Hi, I'm Sarah O'Neill, and I've written out something I was going to read to you guys because 3 minutes isn't a lot, but I'm going to go away from it, which is not my strong point, but just listening tonight, like I think you guys are doing a great job looking at data and looking at all these different ways you can improve the schools, and I know Rockford has a ton of great things going on and things that they offer. But lately I've just been really struggling with my kids' class sizes, and I just wonder if there's some like simple things that are being overlooked and all the details that are being looked at also. So I do want to read this part because I don't want to leave out some of the things I was thinking. Rockford opened a new school this year and had retirement district, but did not make new hires. People were shuffled and stretched in. For the second year in a row, my daughter's grade has one less teacher than all the rest of the grades in her school, and as a result, larger class sizes that are less than ideal. My third grader has 30 students in her class this year, with a parapro only in there for a portion of the afternoon. I know that when I was a high school teacher at a local public school, our contract limit was 28, and that was for high school. There are 30 third graders, which is insane to me, and every educator I've talked to about it has been shocked. The research I found after a quick search is that class sizes over 24 are too big. And I can tell you from personal experience, as can anyone who's been in the classroom, that with each additional student that you add in, you can literally feel your ability to give proper attention to individual students diminish. And I'm sure that my daughter's teacher is working extremely hard, and I highly doubt that the building administration prefers it that way either. But here we are with everyone stretched in because enrollment is declining and there's not enough money apparently to hire the appropriate staffing to serve our students well. My kindergartner has 23 students in his class, which is 6 more than my daughter had when she was in kindergarten, and it seems that there is less parapro help currently than there was when my daughter was in kindergarten also. This is letting down our students and our teachers by not giving them ideal environments to learn and teach or proper support. I would argue that the number one thing that affects students is their teachers and the student-to-teacher ratio. So I just wonder what is causing this decline in enrollment. I know that some other people have already talked about this tonight, but I hope that you guys will consider, and I don't know if it's been looked into, but I think it needs to be because it's impacting our students. I know that there's board members running together kind of in the current election, and I just feel like it's closing out people of different opinions, and just experientially, people that I have talked to that have sent their kids to other places, other schools, homeschooling, because they don't feel like Rockford is a safe place for their kids. And you guys claim that you welcome everyone, but clearly there are people that do not feel welcomed. So I would just encourage the board to think about what's happening, think about how you're presenting what you're saying to people, be honest and transparent, and with Title IX and the different lawsuits, like we need to know that we can trust what you guys are doing with our kids. Thank you.
Okay. Up next is Chris Crandall.
I hope I can get through this without coughing. Good evening. Yesterday I sent a video to each of you. It's actually a sermon, but it was more of a speaker talking about his new book entitled Discerning the Devil's Playbook. It highlights 4 plays of Nazi Germany currently at play here and now in Rockford and all across America. The ultimate target being the children. He says history not heeded is history repeated. I've spoken in the past about my own dear friend, here's her book, who stood up against Hitler. I've also shared a book from a woman named G. Van Fleet, I talked about this last time I spoke, sounding the alarm that communism is here in America. The same turning of children against parents that happened in China under Mao when she was a child is happening here and now, and this is her warning to us. I've also shared the 45 communist goals submitted to Congress on January 10th, 1963, warning of the plan to destroy America from within. And it's chilling when you read through them. It is happening now. And I think with all these comments that have come tonight, I pray that each of you will search your hearts. And there's a lot of good things going on, and I hear a lot of attaboys, but there's some reflection that needs to happen in the mirror of what's happening. Because history not heeded is history repeated. The hour is late. What's sad is that the evil is here, and you're helping to usher it in, and you refuse to see it. In World War II and in Communist China, the government and authorities, whether knowingly or unknowingly, turned children against their parents. Here in Rockford, a lawsuit has been filed because school employees are keeping secrets from parents and starting to socially transition a child. I've had 2 kindergarten teachers tell me it was their duty to affirm kids who they think may be in the wrong body. It was their duty because some kids come from unsafe homes. And there's inappropriate sexual material within the library, with staff encouraging students to check out the hot items. As you know, another lawsuit is being brought in regards to this. What will it take to wake up? Because history not heeded is history repeated. This is a spiritual battle. I'm a Bible-believing Christian, and I do believe that the Bible is true. And I always sift everything biblically, constitutionally, and through history. And when I do that, I'm asking you just to heed what I'm saying and look in the mirror and reflect. I pray you wake up and change course, because God says in Luke 17:2 that it would be better for them to be thrown into the sea with a millstone around their neck than to cause one of these little ones to stumble. Thank you.
Last tonight is Dwayne Gritter.
First of all, I want to say thank you to all the speakers we've had tonight. My biggest fear is this board will not listen to you. I've been coming here for 4 years now. I've had conversations with many of you one-on-one, many of you through emails. And all that we offered you throughout all of 20, 21, 22, 23, and now 2024, you've basically turned a blind eye to us. I don't have any confidence in anybody that's sitting here other than the real doctor, the only doctor on the board, Dr. Helms, thank you. I don't have any confidence in the rest of you at all. We've got 3 people here tonight, the 4th one is in the audience, who's running for a new school board selection. I don't know how anybody wanted to elect any one of you. We started out in 21. We had to fight to bring a flag into this room. It took us months to get this board to approve a flag. And then we had to, don't even question me, and then we had to turn around and ask you to recite the Pledge of Allegiance and put it onto the agenda. I have all the receipts for this. You guys don't listen to the community. You do everything you can to keep this community from showing up. Nobody else in the county that I am aware of, and I go to several schools, has a board meeting starting at 5:30 at night. Nobody. You are the only ones who do it at your convenience, not for the community. You don't want us here. And then you make us call and ask for permission 5 hours in advance to speak. First Amendment rights. You're bordering on those, violating those. You guys think it's okay to keep the community out. Then you want to make us wait 3 hours through all of your other stuff to have 3 minutes to speak. I'll guarantee you again, folks, they will not respond to you. It's been 4 years. We offered you experts during COVID. What did our experts tell all of you? They said masking will not work. Masking will damage the kids socially, mentally, physically. And yet you went ahead with your experts. I wrote an email to you. I explained this to you. And what was your answer? This board, every one of you got it individually. What was the answer I received from the board? We will do it the same way next time. We will answer our experts, and we won't even care about what your experts have to say. But our experts were correct. This is why I say to the public, they are going to listen to you. We need to change the status of this board. We have a process coming up in a few weeks. We're going to elect 2 new board members to this board. We need to change the balance here. There is no balance. It's all one-sided. Every one of you knows who I've spoken to. Through emails and one-on-one, we've had these conversations before. You had the chance to do things right. You even put a vaccine clinic right here on the front yard. What did we tell you about the vaccines? They were going to damage the kids. They were going to hurt people up into including death. What do the studies show now? That's exactly what we told you was going to happen, yet you went ahead and promoted it. They won't listen to you, folks, I'll guarantee you.
Thanks, Wayne.
Okay, that concludes our public comment portion for tonight, and up next on the agenda is superintendent remarks. Dr. Matthews?
Thank you, Mr. Folsom. There's been some conversation this evening about loss of enrollment in our district, and it is true that enrollment is down. It is not significantly down, but is down nonetheless. We're down just over 1% between 2023 and 24. And what does that mean? It means that we have fewer kids in our community. Demographic trends provided by Kent County show that the city of Rockford grew by 8 people between 2022 and 23. Cortland Township grew by 42. Cannon Township grew by 12. Plainfield Township grew by 166, and Algoma Township grew by 15. No city or township that is part of the Rockford Public Schools between 2022 and 23 grew by over 0.5%. Between the school year 2019 and 2020 and 2023-24, Rockford did lose students, but among the Kent County ISD school districts, which there are 20, 17 lost enrollment during that period and 3 gained enrollment. Our district continues to be an attractive district for families. We have Spanish immersion program, we have STEAM in every elementary building, we have a new outdoor education curriculum, we have robust fine arts and athletic programs. The narrative that we are a district that is losing students because of who we are, I do not believe is accurate. The issue of social transition is an important issue and one that we take seriously. It's especially important for the students and families who are experiencing this. This is also an issue that impacts a very small group of families directly, and we work closely with those students and those families. Mr. Reichenbach emailed me last week reminding me of this issue and requesting that it be placed on the agenda, and I replied to Mr. Reichenbach and Mr. Folsom that I thought the conversation might be premature. I apologized for not letting the whole board know about that request. As the father of 3 sons, I understand the importance of involving parents and families in the educational process. I was one of the parents back when my sons were in school who asked our administrative team in the district that I was a member of and the board to ensure that parents were included. We work hard here in Rockford to ensure that families are included as partners in the educational process of their children. I apologize to Mr. Reichenbach for not getting this on the agenda, but as I explained in my email back to him, I felt it was premature based on the pending lawsuit. I did not communicate clearly that I felt I had, that having this discussion before a decision in that lawsuit is made might not be wise, and so I apologize for that. I would also suggest that when the time is right to discuss this topic, that it might be given to the policy committee to review first, then it could be brought to the full board for a discussion. The suggestion that this is an issue that I was trying to prevent the board from having is not accurate. There's a time and a place to have this discussion. With the pending litigation, I would recommend that we wait until that case is decided. School districts represent their communities, and our community is diverse. Our community is made up of a variety of family types. We have two-parent households, we have one-parent households, we have families where one parent works, we have families where parents both work, we have families where parents work 2 jobs, we have families where parents and multiple generations live under the same roof. And our school district supports all of these families. We welcome everyone into our schools because we understand the responsibility that has been entrusted to us to support and educate everyone in our community. We do not pick and choose. We do not have a test at the door of our school buildings that prohibits students from entering our school buildings. Our schools represent the best of who we are as a community. Are there things that we could do better? Absolutely. And the administrative team and I are at events and in our community, and we welcome comments about our schools. We want to hear from everyone so that we can support the students and provide the services that support our community. And our community supports our schools. In November of 2023, over 72% of the voters approved a renewal of our recreation millage. In November of 2022, over 64% of our voters approved an extension of our operating millage. Our community supports our athletic programs and our fine arts programs. Our parents attend our parent-teacher conferences. Our job is to educate the students who attend our schools, provide programs to support our community, and partner with our community to ensure that Rockford is a desirable place to live and raise a family. I believe that we are fulfilling that mission and look forward to continuing to do so through this school year and in the years to come. And that's my report, Mr. Folsom.
Thank you, Dr. Matthews, and with that, we're adjourned.